Hey, Anime Addicts. As you know, the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast is sponsored by you, the listener, and we need your support. So if you want to help out the podcast, keep this show on the road, so to speak, you can head over to aaapodcast.com/join or Patreon. Mitsuki, he'll love you. He'll love you to the ends of the world. Caroline and Mason, they're going to love you. You're going to keep the show running. You're going to get 8 exclusive podcast episodes per month, so you get all this love, and you get extra episodes as well. I mean, what in the world could you possibly want beyond that? I don't know. Someone give me a clue. Head over to aaapodcast.com/join or Patreon and support one of your favorite podcasts. And now, time to start the show.
Get ready! You're about to listen to the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Make your anime addiction worse at aaapodcast.com. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Hello and welcome to episode 587 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. My name is Mason and I am your host today in another lovely episode of so much mayhem. Speaking of mayhem, he's got the captain's head on, he's drinking, he's getting a little sloshy over there. Mitsugi, are you a sunflower or are you a dandelion?
I'm Mitsugi the Sailor Man. Burp, burp. Welcome into the pod today, people. I am, Mitz had some orange juice and tequila before the episode today because we're going to do all the rest of the impressions from the summer season, and I just didn't think my fragile heart could handle it without being inebriated, so I had a little bit, so, don't judge me, it's 2 p.m., like, whatever, But I also have a Sonic Diet Cherry Limeade. Mason, I am happy to be here with you, and Caroline as well. Love you all.
I would say it's literally 5 o'clock somewhere, but it actually is 5 o'clock here, right now. Caroline resides. How's it going?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well today. No vodka in this drink, just water, my blue water bottle. And yeah, pretty chill here. How about you, Mason?
It's doing fine. I must mention, your room is looking spiffy, on point.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
I cleaned today.
Heck yes.
It smells of Lemon Pledge and Mr. Clean, who's my cousin. It's so weird.
Wow.
'Cause I'm bald.
The Mitsugi signature deodorant line, it just smells like
Lemon Pledge, baby.
Exactly. Oh, that's a dream I can get behind. Well,
anyway, I literally have a can of Lemon Pledge in the bathroom. I just hold them up, I spray it, and we smell lemony fresh all day.
I think deodorant would have sufficed.
Nah, that's for rookies. Anyway, welcome everyone to this episode where we talk about anime and all sorts of things to make your addiction worse. We highly recommend you join us live where we stream every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on Twitch at AAA Podcast, where you can see our glorious rooms and lovely hats and maybe our faces as well if we're feeling so bold. But we have a great time, so we'd love to invite you to come join us for that. Of course, our Facebook and Discord are another great place to find us, and we'll give you all the details of what's going on at the end of the episode. Next episode, I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself.
Oh, tell us.
It's going to be quite the adventure because I will not be here. I will be attending Otakon in Washington, D.C., so I will be out. Caroline.
I am not going to be here either. I'm going to a bachelorette party.
Oh my God, party!
Weekend. We are going to Cape May, New Jersey. We're going to have a good time, but unfortunately, will not be here.
Party? 'Cause I gotta.
So, I mean, what are you going to do, Mitsugi?
I don't know. We'll see. Mitsugi's got some plans in store. There may not be a live episode. I don't think there will be, but I'm going to do something interesting. It might be fun. You never know. It's a secret.
stay tuned.
Super
Pay attention
secret, maybe exciting episode ahead of us.
Pay attention to the podcast Twitter. It'll let you know if something is afoot or is going on. But yeah, that'll be interesting. But this episode today, our main topic is going to be a little bit shorter one. As Mitz mentioned, we are going to be combining our third and fourth rounds of summer season impressions, which means that's going to take up a good chunk of time. But we decided to do a little special, little mini topic, a mailbag catch-up from one just sterling individual who just keeps on putting them out there. So this is the YotaruVegeta Mailbag Extravaganza,
That's right.
where we try our best to knock out a bunch of mailbags that he submitted over the years, and we're going to try to make a dent in them.
He just never stops. It's
He's
like
the Energizer
another day,
Bunny.
another mailbag from YotaruVegeta.
Love to see it. And then, of course, our impressions will finalize today, where we talk about Remain, Tsukimichi, Vanitas, Jahy-sama, Sonny Boy, Goddess's Dormitory, Otome Game, the Villainess Season 2, The Detective is Already Dead, Uramichi, and Nighthead 2041. So a lot on the docket today. Anything else before we kick this bad boy off?
I kicked off the AAA Podcast Fantasy Football League again. I don't think there'll be any spots left by the time this episode hits, Apple Podcasts and Spotify and whatnot. But if you want to send me a DM on the Discord, you're free to try. We did raise the buy-in to $80 this year, so the winner will get 800 smackaroos. It's getting pretty juicy. I think it'll be full by the time, but you can send me a DM, and I will be happy to disappoint you in 4 days when this comes out. So, yep, there you go.
Yeah, I wasn't sure on our show notes, which you get by being a subscriber to our content. It just said FF, and I was like, what does that mean?
That was me being lazy.
I got it. I'm following along. Let's do it. Big news of the week.
Oh, shit.
It's time for big news of the week.
Oh, buddy, it is the Olympic season, and I am so excited for the Olympics. Oh. Wait. Wow. Oh. Had to get that one out.
Majestic.
It was. Wasn't that great?
It was.
I watched the Olympics all week, and all they showed was swimming all week, pretty much. And quick little humble bitching moment. It's like, I'm okay. I like swimming pretty well. Pancake likes swimming pretty well. She swam pretty strongly in like state competitions in high school and stuff. But like honestly, after the third straight night of swimming, I was like, oh my God, is there nothing else on the Olympics? So having watched probably 20 hours of the Olympics now, I would say 16 of them were swimming, and I'm like, God, is there really nothing else to show? I know there's 50 sports in the Olympics, but apparently that's all they show. We're still behind in gold medals to China, but I'm hoping we catch up soon with track and field. So we'll have to see. We're really strong in track and field. But the big news of the week is that the Olympic opening ceremony could have been much greater than it actually was. The Weekly Shimbun in Japan obtained a 280-page document outlining a proposal that was made for the Olympics opening ceremony, and apparently the Olympic Committee loved it, and they were planning on executing it, but due to a whole bunch of circumstances, it got scrapped. Mizuno stepped down, who was originally like one of the people organizing the opening ceremony, and got replaced by Hiroshi Sasaki, who also had to step down because of a scandal. And during all this hubbub, much of the original organizing team under Mizuno decided to quit, and then which was late in 2020 and COVID, blah blah blah, etc. But get this, because the story of Akira takes place in 2020, I guess, according to the article Neo Tokyo, they were going to have a person bust into the arena on a real replica of Kaneda's motorcycle and do the motorcycle power slide just like in the movie. and that was like on the docket to get done. They were going to do it. They were also going to have Super Mario participating in the opening ceremony in CG form along with the athletes. I guess they were probably going to have him like superimposed on like the screen walking next to the athletes, which is going to be pretty cool. And they also had theme songs prepared from Dragon Ball Super films and Parasite and other properties as well. So all this shit got scrapped, and it's like they had all the video games present in the opening ceremony, but they had so many like just greater plans that would have made this like unbelievably memorable for anime fans. I mean, could you ever imagine a power slide from an Akira motorcycle happening during the opening ceremony of the Olympics?
It would have been so cool.
What a way to start it.
That really saddens me because I would have loved that.
I understand that Japan is going to lose like supposedly $20 billion because of the Olympics this year, because they spent a ton of money on it and pretty much nobody kind of came to Japan to, enjoy it. So it's a huge economic loss, which when it's normally like a big boost to an economy. But, I just don't see why they couldn't have done it anyway. Like, it was on TV, like how much would it really cost to have a fucking motorcycle drive in and power slide? Like, really, it's just compared to the 2 million. Honestly, would you rather have the power slide from the Kaneda motorcycle or have like 2 billion fucking drones flying over the stadium? I promise the motorcycle was cheaper.
Well, I think they had changed at least some of their plans because they wanted it to be a more reflective and serious kind of opening ceremony based on like what's happened in the last year. But even so, it's like, it's a shame.
Personally, I thought the opening ceremony was pretty boring. Compared to prior years, it was like barely worth watching. I mean, they've done all kinds of elaborate shit during the Olympic opening ceremonies, and this year was not all that exhilarating, I didn't think. And I don't know. I'm kind of bummed out after reading that article because, I wondered where Super Mario was, and they were planning on having him, though. I guess he was in the works, but it just didn't happen. But we'll talk about the Olympics more in the after party because I love sports so much, and the Olympics is just about sports, and I'm so competitive, so I'm always rooting for the USA to win all the events that they're in, even though I feel like we haven't done super well. But we'll talk about it more in the after party. But yeah, what else we got?
Okay, so I heard that Fist of the North Star will be coming to the stage. There's going to be a stage production of one of the most ultra-violent 80s anime there is. So it's going to be by Japan's Horipo Stage Theatrical Production Group. Yeah. And yes, they are developing an adaptation of Fist of the North Star, and it will premiere this December in Japan, of course.
Wow.
So, of course, Fist of the North Star is like shockingly violent, but they are planning to not only turn it into a stage play, but a musical. Yes, they're gonna be singing and dancing in Fist of the North.
No way!
Yes, way. So playing the lead role of Kenshiro, it was a 32-year-old actor named Yusuke Onuki. He is an experienced musical actor whose past roles include Mary Poppins, Bert, and Billy Elliot.
Turn, kick, turn, kick, turn, kick, turn. Ever seen the producers?
And punch, and explode, and yeah. I'm guessing that's how it's gonna go in the choreography sessions of the show. So he's going to have to beef up in order to be Kenshiro. So he's working with a personal trainer, especially since I feel like creating a stage production with all this fighting involved and also singing and dancing is going to be very demanding.
He's going to be juicing his ass off. He's going to be like fucking TRT and HGHing through his friggin' eyeballs and be injecting that stuff.
But yeah, because Fist of the North Star is a very long series, it's unlikely the musical will adapt the entire saga, but imagine if it did. What kind of batshit crazy, fast-paced musical that would be. So yeah, that's going on. And they also have an American composer on the production team, Frank Wildhorn, who has also provided the music for Death Note the musical. So I think they're in good hands.
Honestly, I could see Fist of the North Star more as a musical than Death Note.
Really?
Yeah. I honestly could. It's pretty jamming. It's a good time. Maybe
I
just because
wish
the
we'd be
best
able to
part
see it.
is the Yuwa Shock opening, which is uh, top tier. So we'll see.
I've only seen one stage play in Japan, and it was a Princess Mononoke one. This was like years and years ago, but they did it, and it was pretty cool. You know, it's a small venue usually, as far as I can tell, and but I enjoyed it. They translate it for people, so if you're in Japan, I doubt that'll happen for anybody really, for the most part here. But
AAA trip. Let's go. Just for Fist of the North Star.
I
I'm down.
desperately want to see this, but yeah, if they will have it somewhere online for us to watch, I will definitely watch
Oh,
it.
I doubt it. But when is
I
it
know.
coming to the stage? Have they announced?
December, apparently.
Ooh, that's a little too soon. I don't think we'll make it.
it's in December. Oh
Yeah,
shit.
December.
Oh, that'll be tough.
Yeah, probably. If it was like late of next year, maybe. But
I mean, who knows how long it's going to be
running for.
performed for.
All right.
So,
What else we got?
my big news. What would you do if you were given $350 to spend on some sort of like artistic property or medium? What would you spend it on?
To
Well,
watch?
No, to like purchase like something.
Do you
from the
have to
artist.
purchase something?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what they did in France because this is a program that they offer. Every 18-year-old in France gets roughly 300 euros or 350 US dollars to spend on the arts. And the New York Times reported that as of July, 75% of the purchases made through this program were books, two-thirds of which were manga. So the application through France is called Culture Pass, but the media often calls it Manga Pass because of how often French youth are buying manga with this $350 stipend, which is amazing considering, you know, France is probably, besides Japan, like one of the biggest consumers of manga. And it's great that this government program is funneling so much, not directly, but, you know, by association to the manga industry, which I think is very funny. So, yeah, if you had $350 to spend, I think manga's a good purchase.
I don't know. I can think of some things I'd probably spend that money on first before that.
What would you buy?
I mean, you could buy an iPad to actually
Nope.
do art yourself.
No, it has. Oh, I don't know if that would work. It has to be through the arts though. I don't know if you could use it to buy, like, I don't know actually. That's a good
I mean,
question.
buying an iPad so you can actually create art is more of the arts than a manga for sure.
I mean, I don't
my
know
opinion.
if you could swing that like that though. But yeah, it'd be interesting. I haven't looked at the rules, but I just think it's funny that, you know, this is such a kind of cool program, and for so much of it to go to manga is funny.
Who pays
and
for
amazing.
all that?
Probably the government.
I see.
I don't know. Either way, manga pass. Please give it to me. I could use some more manga in my life.
Manga has consumed France entirely. There is.
Yeah, it's huge.
That's crazy. Well, I know it's probably very welcome to. Is it like digital manga they're buying, or is it physical manga?
I think it's mostly physical. The article mentions that like bookstore owners are excited because, you know, it kind of, I'm guessing, forces people to buy local. Like it says, you know, you can't really use Amazon or big box stores. So, you know, a lot of independent booksellers are getting a boost by this program. So, I don't know.
All right. Well, that's pretty cool. You know, it's good to see.
Yeah.
It's good to see manga being a success pretty much anywhere, and it's kind of cool that, like, given all of the choices in the world that people have, they chose to spend it on manga. So, you know, it's I kind of feel like I personally feel like I'd rather have people actually investing the money to learn a new artistic skill, but you know, it's
buy some microphones, start a podcast. Come on, get with it.
You could buy some like Copic markers or like buy a used keyboard or something, but you know, whatever. It's nice to see France, you know, indulging in you know, creative endeavors for people. one way or the other. So
Yeah, I think it's pretty neat. Anyway, let's move on to our main podcast topic. I can't even speak today. The YotaruVegeta Mailbag Extravaganza.
should I play it?
Play what?
Yeah, you can. We're gonna be doing it
It's
later in the
time
episode
for an
too.
almighty anime mailbag.
Special edition.
Anime. Anime. Anime.
Mailbag. YotaruVegeta.
I'm doing the praise the sun pose because it's like a Y and kind of like a V. So there we go. Yeah, so I just went through the catalog of her mailbags because he certainly attributed a lot of them over the years, and I figured it'd be fun to knock some of them out to make room for you guys to submit mailbags so we can answer them. So once again, big thank you to YotaruVegeta, and if you would like to leave a mailbag, go over to aaapodcast.com. At the top, there's a button that says mailbag and do the thing. So we're going to kind of go through as many as we can in the little bit of time we have, and we'll see what we can do.
Can I make a quick note?
Yeah.
The AAA Podcast Fantasy Football League is now full. So, as I suspected.
That's why you got to be on the Discord. That's you wouldn't have missed out. I'm sorry.
That's
sorry,
right,
everybody.
All right. Well, on that note, let's continue.
Yeah. So the first mailbag is.
Who's it from?
Ooh, this one comes to us from Vegeta Yotaru, I believe is
Oh,
his
I've
name.
never heard of him before.
And he writes, I hope you are feeling 100%. I wanted to know who your most complete director is. Is it Miyazaki, or have you seen more of another director's works, since there are, I guess, Japanese exclusive works that Miyazaki has produced? So, which director have you seen the most of their works of?
Oh, Miyazaki, for sure. Without a doubt.
Okay. Even the exclusive ones?
I mean, I've seen pretty much everything Miyazaki's I made, including probably half of the Studio Ghibli short films and some of the music videos. So
Did you
it's
see
probably...
the one where the little caterpillar gets pooped on?
God, I don't know. I've seen May and the Kitten
Such a good one.
I've seen the one with like there's one with a witch. There's one with like a bunch of mice. I can't remember them all that I've seen, but they're all really cute.
Yeah, they're pretty adorable. My answer is probably like Satoshi Kon. I've seen just about everything he's touched outside, like even like outside of directing, like anything he had a hand in for the most part, I've seen. Unfortunately, he hasn't come out with a ton of stuff. So if we're going by like quantity, like Akiyuki Shinbo, I've seen a ton of, but he's also like credited as like chief director on everything Chef does, so it's hard to say what he actually directed or just kind of oversaw. So I'm gonna go with like Masaaki Yuasa or Nako Yamada as like two that I've seen quite a bit of and most of their discography, and they're all fantastic directors.
I have not really paid much attention to directors, and I couldn't really think of one off the top of my head that I've definitely seen the most of. But of course, I've seen quite a few Miyazaki because everyone has. And I guess probably Makoto Shinkai because, not because I'm not going to praise, like, oh my god, he is the best director ever. No, I'm not going to say that. But I do enjoy some of his movies, and that is probably, I've probably seen most of his works, I suppose.
Okay. Who wants to take the next one?
I'll do it. Let's see here. You know, AAA, we all talk about the greatest conflicts in anime, but can we dial it back a little? What are some of the best moments of solitude in anime, whether it's solo moments or anime that focus mostly on just one character? I watched it only yesterday, not long ago, and I think that one really is, it's not completely solitary, but it really does focus on the sort of memory and life of the main character and, you know, her reflections of childhood and things like that. So it's definitely her journey through her past and reliving her youth and stuff like that. So, and only yesterday, it's such like a beautiful artistic movie by, you know, Takahata, so rest his soul. So, just really good stuff. I threw Oniisan No Lamp in there as well. I mean, that movie really only has one character, and it's, the main character who's selling the lamps. So, I mean, that's a really good short anime if you want to watch something that's only like 20 minutes long. So, and it kind of takes you through the development of Japan as they transition from, I guess like the Tokugawa era more to like the developed Meiji era and beyond. So, pretty cool stuff. So, I recommend both of those.
I didn't think about it until you said Oji-san, but probably, what is it, House of Small Cubes? Is that like the name of the 7-minute short movie that is like also really based on solitude and a life story? That's also definitely worth checking out. I think you can find it on YouTube.
Yeah, it's called La Maison and Petite Cubes. It's and that won an Oscar, so that's some pretty good shit.
Yeah, good reminder. How about Caroline?
I would definitely say Mushishi, because that's pretty much the only character that you see the most frequently is Ginkgo. And while the show's not much about him, it's about him trying to fix other people's problems. So I would say that. Also Sangatsu no Lion, because there's a lot of characters in it, and you do follow many of them, but they are very much, it's all about them and kind of how they solve their own problems. So while there are a lot of characters in it, I definitely think there are a lot of moments of solitude in that one. Also, I would think ReZero, and I think it's interesting because Subaru always needs to solve problems without any of the other characters knowing about those problems, because he can't exactly explain what these problems are and why he needs to fix something. So I would say ReZero as well.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with Mushishi and Sangatsu. Those are two exemplary works of, character moments. I'd also include Natsume, Bartender, and, just tons of shows like that give you that introspective look with just juicy moments that I enjoy. So, yeah, all good shows. We need more of them.
Okay, next one. I hope you're on your best behavior. Do you
Never.
have a favorite morality anime? I don't think there are that many. There's Dr. Ramune from this season. The Laughing Salesman got a modern reboot. And I guess shows like Yamishibai might fit as well, because the viewer is learning moral lessons. Now, it took me a while to realize what he meant by morality anime, but I guess it's one where it kind of showcases morality and kind of, answers tough questions about it, I suppose.
Yeah, so there's a whole collection of like episodic series where it'll present characters who either do something, reprehensible and are like punished by fate, or like they do something nice and they'll be rewarded by, karma or something like that. And I would agree there's not a ton of these, but I tend to enjoy these types of shows. Obviously, on like a big picture, you could argue like, oh, shonen shows are trying to teach you morals along the way by good triumphing over evil, but I'd say this is a different mindset. So the first one that popped into my mind was Death Parade, where you have characters literally being judged on the morals of their actions in their past life. And to some extent, I would also include Trapeze into that, where a character comes in, is having a problem, an issue, and based on their actions and the doctor's orders, might get resolved from that. So those are two suggestions I came up with.
I came up with Mushishi again because a lot of the problems in the show almost always stems from the Mushi themselves, because they are like these separate organisms that want to survive, but they also harm a lot of the people in the process. But you can't exactly blame them because, again, they're just like animals. They want to survive. And it also doesn't help that some of the most tragic endings occur because the victims of the Mushi don't heed any Ginkgo's directions or warnings. So it's kind of like, well, you should have just listened to Ginkgo. He knows everything. I also wrote down Princess Mononoke because, we got Irontown. And you like the people of Irontown. And you're sympathetic to, their development. And, you want the people that live there to be, healthy, happy, and not have to rely on anything else. But their development also negatively affects the environment and the spirits. And, of course, by the end, you're like, well, fuck, they killed the giant spirit. this it's not right. So you kind of have to go back and forth between whether you like them or you don't.
I didn't even know what the hell he meant by morality anime, to be honest. So I hate to have like a bad answer, but I just didn't know what the But anime to talk about. I mean, it sounds kind of unfun to me. It's like, who wants to like be who wants to be all morality's like, I don't know. I feel like the opposite of that is more fun.
I guess Death Note kind of gets into this section as well.
I mean, I guess maybe it's easier to say like discussion on like what's right and wrong. So maybe, I guess, I don't know, because that's kind of how I view Death Note. It's like you're having like a more like a internal conflict about, whether what you're doing is right or not. But I don't know. In that sense, it's kind of tough.
Yeah, it's up for interpretation.
I abstain. I abstain.
There we go. Next one. Wan Wan AAA. Brand New Animal, Beastars, Odd Taxi. Which anthro anime is the best? Mitsugi had an interesting answer to this one.
Yeah, it's actually none of those. It's Pompoko. For sure. I just watched Pompoko again the other night, and it's, just as fantastic as I recall. And, it's a little bit of a morality anime, I guess, if we're going to define it about what's right and wrong in the world, because they're literally destroying all of the natural environment in which all the animals live. And it's the movies from the animals' perspective, and it lets you know exactly how they feel about, having their home destroyed, and how people don't give a shit, and how they're just raising condominiums or whatever where their homes were, and how sad all the raccoon badgers are, or whatever the fuck tanuki are. But it's also a super fun, like, wild movie. So there's nothing like watching tanuki parachuting with their ball sacks and then pulling the ball sacks underneath and turn them into like giant boulders so they can like grab onto these boulder ball sacks and just smash people like out on the ground as they like wage war against the construction sites. It's a fucking wild ass show. So I'm gonna go with Pompoko. I think Pompoko is like one of those Ghibli movies that people haven't watched. Like, it's kind of more of an under the radar, lesser seen Ghibli film, despite its just very artistic and creative interpretation on like a section of wildlife. So go watch it. Takahata again.
Indeed. Caroline?
As someone who's only seen Beastars out of these three, I'm going to say Beastars, but I literally can't say anything else.
Gotcha. The answer is Odd Taxi. Odd Taxi is the best, but Beastars looks the best, and Brand New Animal has the best opening. So there you go. That's written in stone. Them's the facts. Right. Next one, Mitsugi.
Yep. All right, let's get this job done. Right. Oh wait, this one's from YotaruVegeta. I almost forgot.
Oh, I've heard of that guy.
Yeah, let's get this one done. Do you think your job or any previous job you've held would make good fodder for an anime? I'm not saying we'd have to do a biography or slice of life, mind you. My job's like really fucking boring, so, I can definitely make Microsoft Excel do your laundry, but I don't think anybody would want to watch that as an anime, so.
How about just like as your company as a whole? Is that interesting? Did you have any like weird summer jobs like growing up that you could, or I guess which of your jobs would make the best anime?
Probably teaching English in Japan would probably be the most interesting to people. We don't. I think we've discussed that briefly, like at some point in the past. But honestly, an anime that's about some foreigner that goes to Japan to teach English would be super interesting for foreigners, for sure. They'll want to go do that. You can make it as accurate as you want it to be, and very informational, I'm sure. And it is kind of fun teaching little kids in an elementary school in Japan. They're snotty, they're snotty, runny-nosed kids, but they're cute as hell, and they love you for being there and being with them. So I don't know. Little kids are kind of like. I don't want this to sound bad because I don't mean it this way, but like they're kind of like if you have like a German Shepherd or something, like Like the German Shepherd just loves you unconditionally because you're there at home all the time with it. And I just felt like being in the classroom with like little kids in Japan, they just love you because you're there, and they just want to hang on you and climb all over you and be your buddy. And you can make it into a pretty fun anime. It would definitely be like an Iyashike anime, I imagine. So it could be fun.
I'd watch that.
Yeah, me too.
I'd watch it.
For
yeah, go ahead.
myself, I suppose. As a person who, like many people, have worked in the customer service industry, I would definitely say it's great fodder. Bookseller Honda-san is probably the best example of this. It's really funny. Although it would certainly be a little bit different if like this one's particularly about a Japanese bookstore, but I feel like if you're talking about a person working in a regular clothing store or a restaurant, there's such a variety of situations and dumb people that a person in retail or restauranting has to deal with on a literally daily basis. And as annoying as it is to work for them, it is actually hilarious to think about. So I honestly think it's just so easy. There really should be an anime about this stuff more often.
All right.
I mean, I am a huge fan of like workplace anime. I just find it inherently interesting to see, even if it's a little like unrealistic, like things like No Game or something, where you're like clearly it's a little dramatized or idealized. I still find them fun. So I like to think my job would make for a fun anime. It probably wouldn't be all that interesting from like a what do I do personally, but from a like group, from a community of people working together, like Shirobako, like with a bunch of different talents coming together. I think that'd be interesting. So imagine Shirobako mixed with The Wind Rises, mixed with that scene from Porco Rosso where you have all those ladies making an airplane and eating spaghetti. Like, that's my life. So just mix that all together, put it in a pot, and Mason's Udon World is what we'd call that show.
I mean, if we're talking about an anime that's already been made, I would say the closest to my personal situation would be Wave Listen to Me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've only watched a few episodes of it because honestly I was not really feeling it all that much, and there are very big differences, but if I would have to say the closest, it would probably be that.
Yeah, it's anything can be made engaging with like solid characters and good writing. So just those little things in a show is all you need to be successful. So nice. Let's do one more if we've got time for it. Caroline, you want to read it?
Okay, good morrow, AAA. A lot of diversity has been celebrated in the long history of this glorious podcast. Today, I would like to highlight characters with prosthetics. To gamify things a little, I am going to list 5 characters, and you choose your champion. 1 character to 1 host, please. We have up first, Kotoko Iwanaga. Let's see you get lost for 2 weeks and come back as the god of wisdom. Number 2, Jet Black. He makes that prosthetic arm look cool. 3, Vash the Stampede. One of his Tri-Guns is hidden within his prosthetic arm. Number 4, Hyakimaru. Does he really need his original arms back? That would get in the way of his hidden blades. And number 5, Motoko Kusanagi. She's a full-body prosthesis. Is that how you say it? Prosthesis?
Prosthesis?
Prosthesis, baby.
Yeah, it's
all
right.
She needs is her brain. And that's what he has written. So, can I go first?
Sure.
Because of everything on this list, the only anime or the only character that I have seen in their anime is Hyakimaru, so that's gonna be me. Because he's my boy. He's so cute.
You haven't seen Cowboy Bebop?
I know, I have not.
Oh
but it's
my
terrible.
God.
I know.
I'd say,
Don't even say it.
I'd say, don't worry. Jet is probably the weakest of this pack.
I didn't even know he had a prosthetic.
That's how cool he is. You're distracted by his awesome sideburns and his shades.
Yeah.
And his ability to make delicious dishes with or without the need of beef.
Well, Even so, even if I have watched these other anime, I probably would have gone for Hyakimaru anyway.
Gotcha.
Because
Well, I'm
love
glad
him.
you picked Hakimaru because I definitely would not. So you haven't claimed my choice yet. Who do you got, Mitz?
Something tells me Makoto. So I always call her Makoto, Motoko, because Motoko is weird to me, and Makoto is not. Motoko Kusanagi would probably win this fight, but nah, I gotta go Vash Stampede.
Those were the
for
two I was
sure.
between.
Yeah.
Definitely Motoko is the strongest, both mentally and physically. But Vash just has that's something special, that it factor, that coolness, that suave ability to just not die, that makes him a threat. So I guess I'll go with Motoko and actually win this competition.
Yeah.
But
what the hell is Kodako Iwanaga?
I think that was the Inspector show.
Oh, fuck that. That anime was crap.
She was cool. She had like all these
Oh,
prosthetics,
Mason.
and she was flipping around. She was a smart person. She was taming these beasts. I guess it determines like what stage of her ability of controlling these like supernatural elements. But definitely Motoko.
Jet goes
Notice
down.
Notice how freaking Edward Elric is not on this list.
That's true. But he's too
Let him
short.
know.
You must be this tall to ride.
Oh,
I guess Kotoko is also
Low
pretty
blow.
short.
Talk some shit, let
Literally
him know.
a low blow. If I aimed higher, I would miss him.
Oh my god.
Jet is going to go down first in this competition for sure,
Yeah,
followed by
he's an old
Kodako
man.
Iwanaga probably. After that, it's probably Hyakimaru Hyakimaru is going to go down next probably, and then it's going to be Vash Stampede and Motoko Kusanagi, but she's just going to cheat anyway and like turn invisible or some shit and then like just stab Vash in the back. So that's pretty much how that's going to go down.
But it's going to turn out to be like a cardboard cutout of him, and he would have like vanished long ago. So like,
Yeah,
I think they both end up surviving.
maybe they fall in love.
I've fallen in love with Vash, so anybody
too.
could.
Well, if Yakimaru can survive with no skin, no sight, no hearing, no mouth,
Jesus.
no literal spine, he can survive anything.
Not a tank, he can't.
He can try his best.
I give Vash Stampede a kiss, but I have to stand on like a step stool because he's like 6'8".
Is he that tall?
He's tall as shit. I'm gonna look this up right now. He's
Vash
fucking tall.
the Stampede height. It says about 5'11".
Bullshit.
According to
He's
Google.com.
fucking taller than that.
Characterprofile.com puts him at 6'2".
Uh-huh. Yeah, so
Let's
that's
go
better.
with Reddit. Character heights question mark. Vash 5'11". No.
No, there's no
way.
fucking way. He's tall
There's
as
no
shit.
way my boy isn't a Giga Chad.
He's tall as fuck. And they got him at 160. This site's got him at 5'11", 186 pounds. No. Nope. Vash Stampede, nope. He's skinny. He's a skinny boy. So, he's probably like 5'11", 160.
He got that length.
If he
Yeah.
was 6'2", I'd put him at maybe 175, probably.
Let's go with 6'2". Let's disregard logic and facts and go with 6'2". And then we believe it.
And let's disregard his brother completely, because Knives is the dumbest name ever for a character, so. All right.
Well, that was the collection. Big thank you to YotaruVegeta for putting this together unintentionally. And you know what this means? You're out. We have no more mailbag from you, so you're kind of slacking right now.
Oh
so
my
you should
God.
probably
Wait,
pick
you
up the pace.
got all of them?
Yeah, pretty much. The other one was like a March Madness one, so we'll save that for next year.
You gotta wait 6 more months.
Yeah, exactly.
least.
So, yeah, I hope you guys had fun. Hopefully we answered those well enough, and we will go into our news break before we get on to our impressions. But first, we have a trivia question for you. Famous for works such as Dororo, Astro Boy, and Blackjack, the legendary and prolific Osamu Tezuka created about how many manga series? We'll let you know
Oh my god.
in just a bit. See you soon.
That man didn't do anything else in his whole life except create manga.
His poor wife. His poor family.
Well, he actually created anime on the side too, and we're not even talking about that, so fans of Beast. See you there.
Anime Addicts! Mitsugi is here, and I'm bringing you your sweet anime news. I know you love it. And this time we have a whole batch of new anime adaptation announcements. But first, the manga New Game has concluded its 8-year run. The September issue of Manga Time Carte, which is probably the 900th magazine in Japan that has manga in it, on Wednesday announced that it's going to be ending the New Game manga. The October issue will publish the final chapter on August 27th. Of course, the 4-koma slice of life manga had been running as a series in this magazine since March of 2013. So Doga Kobo adapted the manga into a 12 television anime season back in the summer of 2016 and also in 2017. So quite a lot of New Game out there, and maybe more to come. Who knows? We'll have to see what it has in store in the future. But New Game, the manga, is concluding. Next up, here come your new anime adaptation announcements. The manga Aharen-san no Hakarenai, or Aharen is Unfathomable, is going to be getting an anime TV adaptation. So Inori Minase and Takuma Tadeshima are going to be starring as Reina and Raido, respectively, in the roles in the property. The chief director is Yasutaka Yamamoto of Jitsu wa Watashi wa. The director is Tomoe Makino of Kitsutsuki Tante Dokoro. Very difficult titles here. And the studio is Felix Film, whom I don't believe has done quite a lot of stuff except Neko Para and Uda Sekai Panic and a couple other things. But if you're a fan of Aharen is Unfathomable, look out for this coming out. It looks like it's going to be scheduled to premiere in the spring of 2022. Next up, the manga Hakozume Koban Joshi no Gyakushu, or Police in a Pod. The manga also getting a TV adaptation. The anime is scheduled to premiere in 2022 also, as we start to peel back the curtain on what is going to be coming out next year. Shion Wakayama of SSSS Dyna Xenon and Yui Ishikawa of Violet Evergarden are starring as the main characters, respectively. The director is Yuzo Sato of Ultimate Survivor Gyakko Burai Kaiji. There's so much Japanese in this news break. Madhouse is the anime studio, so that one's easy enough. The synopsis: female police officer Kawai has had enough of her career, and she wasn't even that into it and was about to hand in her resignation when the unthinkable happened. She met the new female director of her station, and after spending a little time with this quote-unquote gorgeous role model, Kawai realizes that maybe she isn't quite done being a police officer after all, so look out for this Hakozume coming out in 2022. And lastly, rounding us out, what we would be remiss without a video game getting an anime adaptation. For the fall of 2021, Gensou Sangokushi, or Gensou Sangokushi, or Fantasia Sangol. Good lord. The role-playing game, which is going to be coming out here pretty soon. The synopsis: Gensou Sangokushi Tengen Reishinki, God, so much Japanese, is set during the Three Kingdoms period in China, which is about the same as 900 other shows, where various warlords and their armies attempt to conquer and unify the nation. The struggles of these mighty martial heroes attract the attention of a king, the monstrous sovereign of evil spirits who wishes to prolong the conflict and destroy the human world. Wow, then the cast list is massive, done by Studio Geek Toys, who has also not done much except Plunderer, which was recent, and we all know how that went. And Date A Live, Date A Bullet again, and a bunch of other weird anime. You could always look out for Gensou Sangokushi coming out sometime in October 2021, or, you could probably just go play Dynasty Warriors also. This is Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break, and now time to get back to the podcast. Hey, anime addicts out there, I know you love the podcast, and I know that we love to bring you extra content. So if you want to help out the podcast, do a good thing, support us. You can head over to aaapodcast.com/join or Patreon. People love Patreon, and we will be giving you our hard-earned extra bonus content, our hentai episodes, and our after parties, and also our Hobby Addicts, where we predominantly talk about video games. You get 8 exclusive podcasts per month just for you for supporting the podcast, so you get a little extra reward for doing a good thing. Everybody wins in this scenario, so if you want to help us out, head over to aaapodcast.com/join or Patreon, and we'll keep bringing you the content.
great moments in Anime Addicts Anonymous history.
When I was growing up, I grew up in like West Virginia in the mountains, and we would spend most of our free time hiking and like finding dead deer skeletons and all this crazy shit that like kids do in the woods, right?
Wait, what about the anime cliche of a pile of porn?
Q Kazuo talking about like the porn mags and there's always a sofa in the woods somewhere, and there's always porn magazines under the cushion. It's such like they're like shamefully hiding in the woods, like rubbing one out on like a bench somewhere in the woods. This is Caroline's fault, Mason. I see you shaking your head no, but
Okay, I just said porn. I did not get graphic with
well,
it.
you know,
You knew where Mitz's head is at. You knew he was gonna take this. He's so
very,
loopy. His inhibitions are at an all-time low.
porn magazines only have one use in this world, and it's not like reading material, okay?
This is a very adult episode.
I didn't say that you whip your stuff out and start going to town on it.
Well, now you are.
I did, but I censored myself, okay? You know damn right, you bastard. But do you know this trivia question? Famous for works such as Dororo, Astro Boy, and Black Jack, the legendary and prolific Osamu Tezuka created roughly how many manga series? This is ridiculous. This guy's like fucking Mozart of anime and manga. He just keeps pumping this shit out. 250 series. Nihyakugoju.
Wow.
Nani? That's fucking ridiculous.
Question, Mitsugi. How are you feeling with the tequila and orange juice
Listen, I live in
drink that you're having?
I live in Denver, Colorado. Okay, I'm at like 5,400 feet here, and I can't even. I can barely. I can't feel a shot of tequila really.
Tequila does nothing for
It
me.
doesn't. When I was in Mexico last time, I think it was like we were doing this drinking game, this card game, and I was really bad at it, and I had like 8 shots of tequila, and I still was fine. Because when you get back to sea level after living up here, your blood's so thick, it's like, nah, we're good. But I do have my monster, my gold, ultra gold. So yummy. Well,
So you have your Sonic drink, your cocktail, and your monster.
and I have a protein drink here too, a pure
And
protein,
drink. That's 4.
complete protein shake full of vitamins and minerals and 30 grams of scrumptious protein.
And all these fluids are just mixing around in his stomach.
That's
you
right.
used the bathroom
Charging
yet?
full. It's in my blood. It's in my veins.
He's gonna be mid-review and be like, I'm gonna blow.
You guys keep talking. I'll be right back.
Speaking of
Exactly.
blowing, where's he going with this?
Yeah, I wonder.
Yeah, no, the suspense.
Let's keep blowing out this mailbag.
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag.
The sequel.
Anime.
2 dances in one day.
Anime.
I'm not doing shit.
Anime.
Mailbag. All right. Kyojin13 writes, and by the way, if you want to submit a mailbag, listen. You go to the website, aaapodcast.com, leave a fucking mailbag, okay? I'm getting sick and tired of not having enough mailbags. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously,
We literally did like 5 already.
go to the website, just write a mailbag, for God's sake. Oh, the humanity. And you'll make me very happy, so. Kyojin13 writes, what are your top 3 stranded on a deserted island anime? Oh, I got a great one for this. These would be the only ones you could watch. Oh, damn. I misread the question. These are the only 3 anime you can watch while you're stranded on a deserted island.
How did you misread that?
I thought it was 3 anime about being on a deserted island, for which I had a great one.
What was
would
it?
be a
Island?
No, it's Mugen Wakusei Survive, which is a show I talked about like 6 years ago about a group of high school or like middle school kids that get trapped on an alien planet. All right. For me, I love Golden Boy so much. Very cliche for this podcast, but I've seen it probably 30 times, and every time I watch it, I still enjoy watching it. So it never gets old, so we're going with that. And also Dragon Ball, because I love Dragon Ball so much. It's just fantastic. And beyond that, I don't really know. You both pick One Piece. I get it. It's really long. So,
Yeah,
fuck it.
I mean,
I pick...
Sorry.
No, you know what? I refuse to watch One Piece. Yeah, but you know what? Maybe One Piece would inspire us to build a ship and get the fuck off that island. So maybe I will go with that after all.
Okay, there you go. My 3 shows were Yuru Camp, One Piece, and Copcraft, and I think none of those need an explanation.
Why Copcraft?
Well, you see, you asked Yuru Camp because it will inspire me to like camp outside and like learn some skills, and I'll feel like I'm part of the crew. One Piece because it will keep me occupied for the rest of my days. And if I finish those 2 shows and my only other option is Copcraft, I think that will really inspire me to get off the island and really like throw caution into the wind so that I don't have to watch it again.
You might off yourself.
I see.
Exactly, or that too. But
God.
when it comes to Copcraft, it's over.
That anime was so fucking bad. Have you seen that shit, Caroline?
No, I mean, I was going to
Oh.
check it out, but then you guys said it was horrible, and I'm like, yeah, this does not seem like it's going to be up my alley.
Your
so
soul has been saved?
it has been saved.
It has been.
But yeah, I did put down One Piece. I've never seen One Piece. I doubt I'll ever watch One Piece except if I'm on a deserted island. I have nothing else to do. So yeah, One Piece is there. But if I need to go back to one of my old favorites, I'll go with Sangatsu no Lion. It'll have the feels and also the heartwarming moments. But then we'll also have Mob Psycho 100 for some of the more like, ooh, cool fights and comedy and also a little bit of feels too. So I get a nice rounded experience during my time on the deserted island.
And you could actually finally learn how to play shogi.
Maybe.
You'd have enough time to actually like pause and be like, okay, let me actually watch and look at the mechanics of this game.
Maybe. But I will
Very
also have
cool.
nobody to play with once I do.
I mean, once you start going crazy, I've seen that Pixar short. You just turn the board around and play yourself.
Shogi, huh?
Mhm.
Yeah. And you can do the Shogi cat song to keep you.
Yeah.
There's a
Occupied and
Shogi
in
cat
shape.
song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you not seen Sangatsu no Lion, Mitsuki?
Not very much of it.
Well, you gotta watch the Shogi cat song.
It's got
Oh, no.
Boboro in it.
Yes, I
Whatever
love
they call it.
Bororo.
Whatever they call them, I forget.
I'd be very happy to hear you guys sing the Shogi cat song for me.
It goes like, nya 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 shogi. Nya
What?
nya 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 shogi. Or something like that.
That sounds like a really bad. What?
That's the chorus. Every verse goes into how each piece works.
Oh my god, I know nothing about Shogi.
Then you gotta watch Sangatsu no Lion. I don't know what else to tell you, Mitsuki.
I don't know. I should just watch Sangatsu no Lion because I keep hearing that it's a damn good anime.
It is a
I
damn
mean,
good anime.
It's one of the very few shows I've given 5 out of 5 to. So
Wow.
hopefully that inspires you. Anyway, let's move on to our big
impressions.
segment.
We do have a lot of impressions to get to today, and because you guys aren't going to be on the show next week, and so we're getting them all done this time because I just didn't want them to drag out, too long because then it's like, oh, everybody's already seen them all and no one's curious. So we're gonna get them done today, and here's your drop.
Today, we're going to be doing impressions.
Impression time, believe it. Ugh.
Oh gosh, just the change out.
Oh my goodness! Did you hear who that was?
Oh, it was Enzy
Oh,
Penzy.
man, I know.
Pansy?
Shed a little tear right there.
All right.
Hit me with the
R.I.P.
third ball.
So let's talk about shows that have been passed so far. Only 2. So we got Genjitsu Shugi Yusha no Okoku Sai Kenki. Is that, I don't know what that
I
means.
need to just have an explosion drop. Do I have an explosion for like when there's an anime title that's way too fucking long and I just want to blow it up?
I mean, it should be done. But we also got the Aquatope on White Sand, which is a lot easier to say. So those are the only 2 shows that have been passed so far. Again, we each get 2 passes. One of those were Mitsugi's, one of those were mine. Mason has yet to grace us with a pass. And and by the end of this, we will have a poll for you guys to do to give us the next 3 anime that we will be reviewing this season. So, yeah, we'll be putting all the shows that we have not passed and also the shows that we didn't even talk about. So you'll be able to make your choices then.
Yeah, and also the listener choice poll is probably going to be up possibly by the time you hear this. So you might want to check the website or check social media or the Discord for links on how to vote in the listener choice poll, because we need your input. So
if you weren't sure, the Genjutsu Shugi one is the realist hero rebuilt the kingdom. So that's that one.
If it was me, I'd fail everything from this season, honestly, but the show must go on, as they say. So who's going first?
Well, the first one on the list is one of mine, which is, is it Yura or Ura? I'm not entirely sure.
Uramichi.
Uramichi Oniisan. So this is a show about a guy on a children's TV show in Japan. He is one of probably like 5 characters that are the stars of the show. He's like their gym teacher, gym person, I don't know, like physical education guy. But the thing is that he is very emotionally unstable. He is basically just the embodiment of everything that young adults have to deal with these days that are pretty negative. So he just adds a twinge of darkness into this otherwise very cheerful children's TV show, which by the synopsis of that, I love. I was very excited to watch this show. And in many aspects, it is entertaining. But the thing is that a lot of the jokes just kind of fall flat for me, unfortunately. I'm not entirely sure if it's maybe the language barrier or if it's not just edited as closely as it needs to for some of these jokes to land or something like that. But unfortunately, it just doesn't really hit the potential that this show could have had for me, which is unfortunate. And I probably would have passed it anyway, because it is a generally good show, except that it doesn't really offer a lot for discussion, at least from this point in the show. I'm not entirely sure if there will be an arc that we could talk about for review. So unfortunately, we'll have to fail it. But there are some pretty good moments in it, including a 2 guys in a bunny and a bear costume that I love because they just look so ridiculous and I love them. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Uramichi and Oniisan.
How about new?
All right. Well, we're off to a great start. Oh my gosh, is this next one mine? Oh,
I hope so.
So excited. You hope so.
I hope I made them back and forth between you two.
Okay, so here we go. I am doing a show that is called Tsuki ga Michibiku Isekai Dochu.
Toto? I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
It has Isekai in the title, people. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise known as Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy, otherwise I'm sure referred to just simply as Tsukimichi, which is a show where an ordinary high school boy gets summoned to another world, and he meets this goddess that basically says he's fucking ugly. She goes, "You're ugly," and then she just like banishes him to like the edge of the world, essentially, and he's just like, you brought me here, and then you just say I'm ugly, and then you send me off and, you know, cast me out. And so he ends up in this like wilderness area, and he runs into, the first thing he like runs into is like this orc girl, and she basically looks like Miss Piggy sort of, but she's like an orc, and because orcs are pigs, I guess, and they're talking about how there's like this dragon that's name is. Originally the name is it's just like this invincible dragon that I can't remember. Shen, I guess, is the name of it. And he goes to like talk to this Shen because Shen's like collecting sacrifices and doing all the typical, you know, scary monster thing that, you know, that happens to villages, and they're sacrificing people or whatnot. And he goes to like talk to her or it, I guess, and he ends up like fighting Shen and beats up Shen. And because like this is a typical isekai show where he's like super overpowered and has all this magic power and for no reason, et cetera, et cetera. And so Shen signs a contract with him, and the contract is like this system where it starts out at 50-50, where they have like the same amount of power and in the contract, and then like the contract, I guess, decides that he's more powerful than Shen. So they try it at like 70-30, and it's like, nope, still too powerful. You need to give up more power. So he's even that much more powerful than Shen. And so eventually it's determined that he's like 80-20, and so he has like 80% of control. And so Shen reduces itself to being like this hot girl with big boobs. And, and then Shen takes all of the people from the Orc Kingdom inside of this like fabricated imaginary land that exists in her mind, I guess, or some shit. And so they all go to this land, and then they're like accumulating all these different races of monsters to this land so they can all live in peace. And then like in episode 3, a spider monster shows up that is the black spider of calamity. And it's like attacking, and it can self-regenerate its limbs. And it's attacking all the villagers in the town that they've created inside of Shen's mind or whatever. And surprise, surprise, the main kid, whose name is Makoto, beats up the spider, and the spider's like, oh, I love it when you beat me, because she's like fucking masochistic or whatever. And so she's like getting turned on by the fireballs and the lightning he's shooting at her. And in the end, he beats up the spider, and the spider, although it pretty much can't die, I guess, decides that it wants to also form a contract and reduces itself to another hot girl with big boobs, whose name is Mio. And so he has 2 hot girls with big boobs named Tomoe and one named Mio, and they all live inside of this fabricated like fantasy world that's like in an astral plane or something. This anime is exactly the same as the fucking spider anime, except not as good. It's like, I'm overpowered and everyone loves me and I'm really friendly, and so I'm going to accumulate like orcs and lizard men and fucking tiger people and all this shit. Oh, and dwarves, so they can like build weapons and houses and all this crap into the same place. Oh, and by the way, I have all these like underlings that like, obey me, and they're all OP monsters, basically. And it's fucking terrible. I don't know how else to put it. And on top of it all, it's just rife with like, I love me some potty humor, but I don't find this shit funny, basically. So, this is super disappointing, but ultimately not that shocking, ultimately. So.
You? If I knew it was for you, I never would have given it to him in the first place. I would have taken a hatchet and smashed it to pieces. No soup for you. Come back 1 year.
Don't ever come back. Tsukimichi. So fucking bad. It's like, it's the same show as the slime anime. Exactly. The same fucking show. It is. Except they're in like this fabric, instead of being like in this plot of land out in the middle of nowhere, they're like in this like rift in time shit that Shen made, although people can still access it, which is weird. So anyway, that was Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy. I would just go watch the slime show. It's a lot better. So next.
Okay, I'm next again. So I am reviewing Hamefura Season 2, or the my next life as a Villainess X. I guess is what they're gonna call their second season. So it is an isekai. Mitsuki, do the thing.
Oh shit.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
But that's obvious to anyone who's watched the first season of this show. So this is the second season. It's about this girl who dies, is isekai'd into her favorite Otome game, where she is now reborn as the villainess of that game, always trying to survive, because she, at the end of every option of this game, she knows that this character will either die or be exiled. So throughout her entire life in this game, she is trying to gain skills and to make sure that this does not occur. But what little does she know, because she is Bakarina, otherwise known as the most dense person in the entire world, she gains a harem of boyfriends and girlfriends, and sometimes to the creepy extent of girlfriends. So she has this group of quote unquote friends that she loves, and by the end of the first season, spoiler alert, she is not dead, nor is she exiled, and she has reached the natural end of the game that she knows so far. So the second season pretty much follows the same story. It's just that now she doesn't really know much about what happens in this game going forward, and she finds herself in other, situations where she gains people to her harem left and right. It is just constant. She is just so she just gets loved by everyone. So I love this show. I loved the first season, and I love the second season too, and for similar reasons. I would not say it's a great show. There are certain things that I would definitely say could be improved upon. But for the most part, I am enjoying watching the second season. I basically watched like 4 episodes already. The only thing is that we've already reviewed this show, and it doesn't really change the dynamic at all, the second season. And so I think my pass would be better suited to a show that would be interesting to talk about, and therefore will be failing Hamefura Season 2, but we'll be hoping that maybe it will be added as a listener's choice instead of something that's just bad.
Seems possible.
The Cleveland Steamer.
The what?
Cleveland
That one's
Steamer.
new.
Yeah,
What does that
he knew he was going to need some more fails this episode.
Oh yeah, but what does it mean?
You don't want to know.
You got to come to the hentai episodes for that.
Oh,
Yeah, you can
don't
Google
want
that
to
one.
do that.
Good-
I will say this was a soft fail though. It's not a bad
Yes.
show. It's delivering what you wanted. You'll probably keep on watching it, and even if it doesn't get selected, at least you'll talk about it in a what have we been watching. But yeah, glad to hear it's been holding up for what you want of it.
Yeah, we've already added 2 more characters to the Bakarina harem, so it's going well.
There we go.
If you Google Cleveland Steamer, please do it with incognito on at a minimum, and not at work.
I think I'll pass.
Yeah, having the word Cleveland pop up in your search history is pretty much the worst thing one could imagine.
Yep.
Come on down to Cleveland town, everyone. That's a great YouTube video. Anyway.
At least we're not Detroit.
We're not Detroit. I don't get why everyone is complaining about this season. Negative this, negative that. Sure, it might not have as much to offer as its predecessors, but it offers you a chance to dive back and experience the greats that you might have missed out on. Maybe you'll finally watch Sangatsu no Lion, or maybe listener, you'll see what's on your neglected on hold list. These shows that have been yearning for you to return, or maybe you'll see what the heck I keep on rambling about with ping pong, or maybe you'll go back to episode 584 where we gave you all these summer shows to watch. Have you watched them all? I doubt it. Give it a shot. Or maybe our best of 2020, or maybe that sequel, or maybe you'll rewatch one you love like Penguin Drum and actually finally understand what's happening, or maybe finally pick up the behemoth that is Legend of the Galactic Heroes. There's so much that this summer season lets you do. Or you could watch a good show from the season like Sonny Boy, which is my show that I'm going to be talking about today. It's a Madhouse joint. It's an original show. It's over on Funimation. And this is just kind of my type of show. It starts in media res. It has a chronological storyline. It has this oppressive silence that just sits on the whole episode like a heavy, sheet that just is stifling, and you're like, what is going on? You have all these characters laying down, just reflecting, pondering, contemplating what is going on. And we learn that this essentially school and the 36 students within it have just been transported to God knows where. Some of the students are starting to develop superpowers, and they just don't know why or where or how or what is happening, and you're kind of along for the ride. You have these awkward but earnest character designs that allow for nuanced reactions. They kind of have these upturned corners of lips that kind of capture the essence of sly playfulness, like a tricky tanuki or something. One character has the best sets of eyes in anime since Pooperia, so that's amazing to see. You have all these like manga references, like Hibari-kun and Drifting Classroom, which is no doubt a major inspiration for this show. You have this leader that's transplanted straight from Bishonen Tantedan. Like, there's so much going on with the show from the get-go. And it's not, like, obtuse or hard to follow, but it does immediately capture my attention and interest, and it's been engaging so far. It's very much a show where, you know, these 36 students have no person in command, no society to rule them, no set right or wrong thing, and this definitely is a commentary about rules and whether they're imposed by humanity, culture, yourself, the occupation you have. Like, it's all about how do you fit in when all of the structure in your life goes out the window. I'm definitely getting elements of like Flowers of Evil mixed with like Battle Royale, though it hasn't really turned into a death game yet. It's kind of a weird, mysterious, funny, strange show, and that's kind of what I come to anime for sometimes. Will this show be too ambitious and fail like Wonder Egg did? It's very possible. Like, despite the reputation of the studio and some very talented staff involved, like, who knows? This could be a failure at the end, but I'm willing to take the gamble. It hasn't staggered me with its quality, but it's been probably the best show I've seen yet this season, so I will give Sonny Boy a pass.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
Oh my god, we did it!
I passed one, everybody.
We did
Yay!
it. Alright, it's back to me, I think. So, I put a poll up. I couldn't really decide what I wanted to pass, because I didn't really like any of my shows, honestly, so I didn't know what to pass here for the second one, so I let Twitter decide. And I was surprised by the outcome. So, I have a show called Vanitas no Carte, which I think is basic. I saw a poll today on Twitter from one of those polling websites. It said this was the number one show of the season.
I saw that too, and I was surprised because I haven't seen anybody talk about it.
So, Vanitas no Carte is a Studio Bones. It's probably because it's Studio Bones, honestly. It's Studio Bones anime, and it's about this, you know, the vampire named Vanitas, who I guess was like discriminated against for the way he was born into the vampire world, and he created this book called the Book of Vanitas, which is a cursed grimoire, which people love using the word grimoire in like fantasy shit. It's a book that would let him take his revenge on all the vampires that had done him wrong, I guess. And so what you got in this anime is surprisingly a character named Vanitas. There you go. And Vanitas's buddy, who what is the buddy's name? It's been a hot minute since I watched this. He's got a friend with him that it might be Noe. Noe Archivisti is like there's like an underling vampire, I guess, that hangs out with them, and what happens in like the first 3 episodes basically is like there's like this fantasy world where all these pretty boy vampires exist, and the book of that people can become like corrupted and can become I don't know if they're really vampires or not, but they become like they lose their names, and when you get your name taken away in like lore or whatever, it's very powerful. And so because they lose their names, they lose themselves, and they become like monsters or vampires or whatever. And so in the first couple episodes, there's a few rounds of Vanitas basically using this grimoire, which can identify a person's name and give it back to them so that they can be restored to, their humanity or whatever. And there's a very cute looking character that's like this little boy, and he's like another demon hunter or whatever, and he's got like a servant with him too, and it's like this powerful it might be this Jean girl. There's a boy named Luca, and then Jean is like this powerful demon who was in like this vampire war, whatever, blah blah blah, and they have an encounter with them and they fight a little bit. Honestly, this anime, I wasn't really feeling it. It just feels like it tries way too hard, and I'm not really into the pretty boy vampire shows when they're all wearing like all the fancy like Victorian era shit is like my least favorite time period. I cannot stand it. Period pieces are fine, but like the Victorian era, I just find it annoying. I don't know why. They're all dressed weird with their monocles and all this bullshit. Like, whatever. But it just seems like it's trying too hard, and it's just I'm not really gravitating towards the style of it. So whether or not this is like possibly one of the highest watched shows of the season, or whether or not it's one of the highest rated shows of the season, which it is on both accounts, and whether or not it shows up on Twitter in a poll that says it's like the number one show right now, I don't really care. I didn't really enjoy the first 3 episodes of this, so I'm gonna fail this anime. And honestly, the Twitter poll I put up with our audience didn't pick this anime. It actually came in last in the poll out of 3 shows, which I thought was really shocking. Although the poll didn't have a whole lot of people voting in it, but I fully expect this one's coming back anyway. So we're gonna watch this show whether I want to watch it or not. And Vanitas no Carte. So I think it already has a second season coming. So if I'm not mistaken, it's like literally, seriously, on like my anime list, it's already greenlit for a second season. They're not even done with they're not even like halfway through the first season, and the second season's already slated, complete with title and everything. So coming back anyway. So we'll see this one inevitably.
That is one big pile of shit.
There you go. So I just wasn't feeling it. Like, it's not a bad show. It just as easily could have passed as it would have not passed. And I think most people are going to enjoy this. I just didn't. I wasn't feeling it. So
you didn't add Victorian era to your pet peeve list last week.
It's just like it tries so fucking hard. It's like everything about this show is just, it has like this feel to it that just makes me feel like they're pandering to a certain audience. I can't really put my finger on it, but it's just not me. I'm not the audience. It's got a little bit too much of like I'm trying way too hard with the style, and it just missed the mark for me totally. So, but like I said, it doesn't really matter because this is coming back for sure. So mark my words, we're gonna end up watching this one anyway. So it doesn't matter. All right, what's next?
Okay, next is Tante wa mo shindeiru. Are you gonna play the drop, Mitsuki?
Is this another isekai?
No, you know what this is. The detective is already dead. I'm just saying, like, the Tante wa mo shindeiru. Last week, so. So the detective is already dead. So you basically know what this anime's about. So it starts off with this one character, this guy. He is apparently a trouble magnet. Like, bad things happen around him. He's even caught the eye of the local police department. They know who he is because he's always around where trouble is. So one day he's like kidnapped by these guys. They thrust a suitcase in his hands and tell him to go onto this plane. And he does because he has no other choice. So he gets on this plane, and there's a girl sitting next to him. For some reason, a flight attendant comes out and says, "We are looking for a detective. Is there a detective on this plane?" And then she shoots up her hand and says, "Yes, I am the legendary detective." Her name's Siesta, by the way. It's a code name, I guess. It's a weird name. So Siesta asks the guy, what's his name? It's Kimizuka Kimihiko. So Kimi guy, this guy Kimi, he goes with her to meet the pilots, but they're actually being held captive, and therefore the rest of the plane is being held captive by this guy from a super secret organization. And so apparently he literally told the flight attendant to go find a detective on this plane because he knew she'd be there or whatever. Now that's where the story all starts out. I kind of can't remember a lot of it because I've seen 2 episodes, but I've really seen 3 because the first episode was double length and that was just long enough. So it becomes apparent that this isn't a normal guy. This is like an android or something. He has this weird tentacle coming out of his ear that he fights with. He can hear everything that happens. I'm just like, and this is the point where I'm like, what the fuck?
Anime.
You know, I thought I thought the show would be very interesting, but then they bring in all this supernatural elements and weirdness. I'm just like, can we keep it like down to earth or something? Because otherwise it's it's an okay show. Because the main character, or the detective, I like. Siesta's pretty cool. I like her. The other guy, the other main character, the guy, is as boring as a blank sheet of paper. He is so boring. And I'm not even like saying, okay, so his character is boring, like he is just, Mary Sue or whatever. No, his actor, his voice actor, speaking in Japanese. I don't even know Japanese. And this is the most dry performance I have ever heard. Like, his reaction to, I don't know, being shot at is comparable to sitting around and eating pizza in his house. The same, like, cadence, the same tone. There's no urgency. I'm like, can you switch it up? Please, give me a little something here.
You can be pretty excited eating pizza, honestly.
No, but, like, this is not even exciting. Like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know what, can you give him some direction? Give him, I don't know, a punch to the face to make him feel a little something in his voice. But anyway, so he's super boring, but at least I like the detective, but that's not really helpful because she's already dead! She's dead. She's dead by the second episode.
That's the title of the show!
It is the title of the show.
We did it, everybody.
So, I mean, I guess you might see her in some future episodes as like a flashback or something like that. But yes, she's dead, and get this. In the second episode, we are introduced to this new girl. This is like after like 2 years of the detective and Kimi working together, and they do all these sorts of cases. Kimi even describes like, we were stranded on deserted islands. We were doing all this crazy shit and all this stuff. So that's basically the last few years of their life. Then last year, in this present time of the anime, she's dead. So he meets this new girl who asks him to help her find someone. And he's like, okay, who do you want me to find? And she goes, I don't know. And he'd be like, what do you mean you don't know who you're trying to look for? She says, you see, last year I had a heart transplant and I just feel like I'm looking for someone. And he goes, the person you're looking for is probably the person that the heart is longing for. This other person who's already dead, this heart that person belongs to, they're looking for somebody. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? This is so dumb. This show is so dumb. So yes, the heart is looking for somebody. And that brings them down this whole episode of stuff. Then they coming back to the guy that is in the first episode with the weird tentacle for the ear. He is in jail, and they both go visit him because for whatever reason Kimi thinks that he'll know who this heart belongs to. 1 in a million chance, right? Wrong, because he goes, I knew who it belonged to the moment you stepped into this building because I can hear its heartbeat. And apparently that is like a fingerprint signature of somebody's, their heart beating. It's the detective's. He's like, what? It's the detective's heart. The person this girl has been searching for was Kimi. Guess what, guy? This show is so dumb.
Caroline's losing her shit.
I know, it's just like it had potential, and I was enjoying Siesta, but they just do so many things that it's just, I can't help but I said this is so dumb several times this episode, and I said it several times when I was watching this show. So yeah, needless to say, I'm failing the show because everything that I liked is already dead.
Okay, what do I pick here?
No, God!
I'm running out of drops.
No, God, please, no! No!
I got more I can find.
No! No!
I felt like that drop adequately matched Caroline's mental decline.
I'm sorry.
No, it's a good mental decline.
There was just so many things with this anime.
All right, so I'm going to do another show here. And I'm just gonna tell you right now, this show it's a bit of a disappointment. Not that we're really all that surprised, but hear me out here. The show is Remain, which was my top pick for the season, and it's an original work by MAPPA, which was enough of a reason for it to be anticipated, because, MAPPA's just been crushing it. And it's this anime about a kid named Minato, who is like this prodigy at water polo when he's in like middle school, I guess, like getting ready to go to high school, and I can't remember what it is, like a car accident or something. Anyway, he ends up in like a coma, and he wakes up and he has amnesia. He can remember approximately nothing from like the prior 3 years. So all of his experiences with water polo in middle school, he doesn't remember any of them. And he gets to high school, and his whole family's real worried about him because he's like doesn't remember his friends. He doesn't remember middle school, anything he learned in middle school. He has this type of amnesia where it's not like it isn't like when normally you see people, they just can't remember what their name is or who they are, right? Well, in this, he can remember nothing from the past 3 years. And ultimately, this is the same issue I have with a lot of sports anime, and I've been bitching about it on the Discord all week. Is that it's a 12-episode anime, and you get 25% of the way through the show's run before you do a sports show. And for someone on Twitch, this is Remain again. And this is a sports show they're not gonna play sports ever in it. We're going into episode 4 or whatever, and ultimately they haven't played a damn bit of water polo. The whole show is about this kid's like problems and how they don't have enough club members. It's the same thing as every other sports anime that's come out in for like a good while now. It's just like the same cliches you're faced with over and over again. Our club doesn't have enough members. Oh, we got to find people for the club, but the only people that really could be candidates don't really want to play water polo, or they hate sports, or they're traumatized, or they something. And by the time they get like all these members on their team, we're going to be in like episode 8, which leaves you with 4 episodes, which is approximately no time to do anything, particularly when Minato, the main character, doesn't remember how to play water polo, and one of the members, who's like the quiet, like stereotypical like quiet character who's like kind of meek. You see these in like anime characters a lot. He can't even barely swim.
What?
He can't swim. He can't.
They're gonna try to put this guy who can't swim into the water polo team.
Later in like episode 3, or it might have been episode 4, this kid named Shugol, who is like one of the greatest swimmers in Japan when he was in middle school. I don't know how that happens. But he's like an obvious choice for the water polo team, but he hates water polo or whatever. He hates swimming. So he's going to have some kind of trauma too. And basically like he races the entire water polo team, so to speak, in a relay where they all do one length down and back or whatever. And he does the whole thing himself, and he gives them like a 30-second head start, and he still beats them. Because the one kid on the fucking water polo team can't even friggin' swim. His name's Yoshiharu. He can't even friggin' swim. And I've just been ranting my ass off. Listen, I can write this anime better than they did it. Honestly, if you want to have an exciting sports anime that gets people into water polo or whatever, I said it on Discord, start the first episode in the middle of a match in the playoffs of some year where the team's already formed and knows how to fucking play water polo. And then have them lose, and then you do the typical rise up from the ashes, get your revenge next season in the playoff story, where they go through the season, and there's difficulties along the way, but ultimately they make the playoffs, and they get to have their long-anticipated rematch with the rival team from the prior year, and then you fucking play them, and you win, and then you go to the final. Simple. It's a simple sports story. You don't have to have all this character drama with, oh, I have amnesia, and oh, my daddy hated me or whatever, so now I can't swim anymore, or whatever the fuck it is. Sports is drama on its own. You don't need to have all this artificial character crap inserted into the show, because nobody came to the fucking table to watch you sort out some kid's amnesia issues. You came to the table to watch water polo. I thought that was the point. It's called Remain. It's got a fucking water polo on the cover. But ultimately, this is not a sports anime. That's the genre that it's listed as, but it is not a sports anime. If it was a sports anime, they would have played water polo already, and they haven't done it. It's been a whole month, and it's been on TV for a month already. However, I'm going to pass this anime because people on Twitter picked it, and it's just as good as Vanitas no Carte. It's about tied, probably. At least it looks good. It looks good. It's got good music. It's got good coloring. The animation is fine. It's a solid show, other than the fact that it's just not going to be about water polo. It's going to be another one of these shows where the kids are too traumatized or whatever to actually get around to doing it. And on top of it, they don't have enough club members. So we can take bets on how many episodes in the 12 episodes it'll be before they play water polo for real. I'm guessing it's about episode 11 out of 12. So
wait, so how many episodes have been out so far?
4.
I'm going to say episode 6.
They may never play water polo. The kid, he can't swim. They're going to have an epic montage, an absolutely epic montage where the one kid learns who he is and the other kid learns how to swim and the other kid decides not to be an asshole.
A Promised Neverland season 2 type montage.
It's just, and Captain Avatar from the chat says Keijo is better than this by 100 times, and he's right. He's right, but Keijo, guess what? It was a fake sport, but at least they played it. So, so I'm going to pass it because I think it would pass anyway, and Twitter picked it, but
Blame Twitter.
I'm not feeling real good about it.
Oh, wait. Oh, and boom goes the dynamite.
I'm like really close to just giving up on sports anime, honestly, completely, because they're never good. We haven't had a good sports anime since Haikyuu. And it's been a hot minute.
That's not true.
What's the good sports anime? Look me up.
Let me see what sports have come out since Haikyuu.
It wasn't Dumbbell. That anime was barely held it together.
That was a good show, but it was not a sports show.
The rock climbing show sucked. Honestly,
was the backflip one good? I have not seen that. But
backflip was not bad. Mitz would not like it at all, so I wasn't going to say it.
It's not. It's like that's not the kind of sports anime people want. People don't want to watch. Like Kabaddi was horrible. The badminton show was they did play badminton, but it was an awful lot of people's problems again. The show we had about tennis, was it, or
Stars Align?
Yeah, Stars Align.
Yeah.
That show was a lot of people's problems too. It's just give me a fucking sports anime. That's all I want.
No, you won't watch Musume. I know Chihayafu is not a sport. Megalobox? Run with the Wind?
I wouldn't say that's a sports anime, Megalobox.
Run with the Wind was a good anime, and honestly, I would take Megalobox over Remain any day of the week. But, anyway, that's enough from me. People are tired of hearing me be a
Welcome to the
whiner.
Ballroom. That was pretty good. Yuri on Ice?
I'm not sure. I don't know. Yuri on Ice. It's like 6-7 years ago.
That's when Haikyuu 3rd season came out.
I don't know.
And Haikyuu season 4 was anyway, moving on.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just been nothing but sad fire and brimstone for all sports shows.
Yeah, I guess so. Ooh, I'm up next. This is my 7th pick of the draft, my last impression, and this is Mother of the Goddesses Dormitory. And let me try to sell you on the show in much the same way the show tries to sell viewers. Okay.
Big boobs.
Okay, it starts off nipples.
I'm sure it does. I've seen the promo art.
The opening shot of the show is nipples.
No, it's not.
3 sets to be exact.
What?
And no doubt soon to be 6.
Oh, I'm gonna watch this.
Yeah,
I'm pulling this up. I gotta pull this up on my phone.
Start a timer, listener, on the time between the episode starts and you see nipples, and if you make it past 1 second, you're watching the wrong show. You can find this on High Dive or VRV, Verve as the kids call it. But yeah, the show starts off with nipples, and that's what you're getting from the show. Moments later, our nimble but floundering middle schooler is face first in the crotch of another busty college student, and then still later finds himself fondling, measuring, and suffocating under the various manner of flesh that assails him. This show tells the story of Nagumi, a 12-year-old boy who finds himself becoming the quote-unquote dorm mother for a problematic dormitory at a women's college. And
you're excited. Feel these nipples.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what the show is. It is a fan service show for just people who want to see exposed
I fucking
breasts.
knew it. I knew it. The promo art was like titillating enough.
No one didn't expect that, but
no, I mean, it's crazy.
But yeah, they know what they're doing, and I will say, luckily for this show, Nagumi is not some like creepy pervert who is like lecherous, and like you don't feel skeevy watching him, but he's just, you know, a pure soul who just so happens to be surrounded by big booba energy, and their gravitational pull just sucks him in. But this is just another one of your Shotokan shows, your Love Hinas, your Harem Bonanzas, and you know that this is your type of show if you want to, and if not, here's a poem for you to describe the show. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Ready.
With sensuous lips, give me your thirsty, your lustful, your huddled horny yearning to be free, the wretched refuse of your turned-on shore. Send these, the freaky, the aroused to me. I lift my lamp besides the goddess's door.
Did you write that?
No, that's the Statue of Liberty thing.
What?
With some words swapped out.
Oh my god. I would snap, but I can't snap.
Yeah, I mean, it does smack of Love Hina a bit, especially because they're like in a dorm, but he looks so young. Like, I'm looking at pictures of this right now, and he looks substantially younger than the girls are.
Yeah, and it's definitely one of those shows where you're like, I mean, I guess it's fine, whatever. But then you're like, if this show had the genders reversed, and you just had this like middle school girl just grabbing onto dudes' wangs and stuff like that constantly, like you'd be like, this is highly concerning. And yeah, we are definitely sensitized as a society to be like, the guy is getting boobs. Like, high five, my guy. Like, that's, like, I get that we can get away with it, but I just can't help but in some corner of my mind be like, if the roles were reversed, this would be frightening. And I think that's something that is worth considering sometimes. So, yeah, with this, I will be passing Kageki Shoujo from a couple weeks ago and failing Mother of the Goddess's Dormitory.
But like, so what's the deal though? Like, if he's not a perv, are the girls just fucking clueless? Like they're walking around with their tits hanging out?
These are the girls, yeah, who just like,
or maybe it's just like the universe trying to get this guy into these other girls' boobs.
Yeah, it's more of just like, I'm the scientist, and I like to work in the naked times, and I do an experiment, and oh no, there's an explosion, so the door comes flying out, and the girl comes fleeing in terror, who collides face first with him. Like, it's that kind of stuff.
How many times does he get his face in the boobs?
Come on. Is there a jiggle counter?
I mean, obviously, like, honestly, I don't think there's as many, like, jiggles as there was in a Maid Dragon. Like, that was definitely more like, because they're clothed, we have to remind you that there's boobs there by constantly having them gallivant around. But here, they are just constantly so full that they just are on screen constantly. So I don't know, 4 or 5 times in the first episode.
Any chance for romance in this?
Any chance of any story in this?
No, there's definitely like not at this stage like an attraction. Like they are definitely like, oh, he is a kid and we are college people, so hopefully there's not a romance. And I think it will remain kind of a pure show as far as like them learning and growing and helping one another. Like I'm not gonna say like it's all like exposition and stuff, but it's more, I don't know, there's probably some like heartfeltness to it, but it's just it's probably not worth our time.
God, this pink-haired girl is so sexed up. I'm watching a music video of this, and it's just like every scene she's in is just like this. It's a good thing he's not perverted, because he would be absolutely tormented. But
now this actually gives me like a thought based on your little poem there. What if for a main topic we just made poems about some of our favorite anime?
About boobs?
No, not about boobs, Mitsuki.
If you want to, I'm not going to stop you. I also really wish I'd read that poem better. I kind of botched it, but hopefully it got the message across.
You can't do much better than Lady Liberty herself.
This anime also reminds me a bit of a Happy Lesson. Have you guys ever seen Happy Lesson? Which is like that show where the kid had like 7 or 8 mothers, and they were all hot, and they all lived with him, and they weren't really his mother, but they felt like his mother because they were like, he lived with them, and they were taking care of most of the stuff at home. And anyway, I figures I'm the only person that's seen that.
Yeah, I haven't even heard of it, I'll be honest.
Anyway. Well, geez, Mason, I was pretty sure you'd pass the Dormitory tit anime, but I guess I was wrong.
Yeah, who would have thought it? Who would have thought that Mason doesn't like fan service? What?
Can I just make one more quick comment about this? Someone was so amped up about this anime that they literally, when did this shit premiere? I gotta look this crap up. They literally could not wait, even until there was enough content out to really do a proper music video for it. They had to make the AMV after like 2 episodes. They were so hyped. They're like, I just can't wait. Wow. I love this titty anime so much. I had to make a music video right now.
Came out July 15th.
It's 2 episodes out. They already went for the AMV. They didn't even wait to have all the fucking material to make it. They just couldn't wait. That is so funny.
Good for them. They're just on their game.
I love it. It's just hilarious, though. Oh, my gosh. He's got to really appreciate it. Ooh, there's some kissing action going on in this AMV. Ooh, goodness. All right. Am I next? Yeah.
Yes.
This anime never even really came out, so it's failing for sure. So I don't know what else to say about it really. I mean, it's
maybe the title?
Yeah, it's Jahy sama wa Kujikenai, which is Jahy sama won't be discouraged, which is, a show I picked because I don't know, it's probably pretty far down my list to be honest, but this show is the second last show to release this season. It just came out today. I haven't seen the episode. And honestly, like, by the time this show has 3 episodes out, most of the other anime of the season are going to be like on episode 7 or 8. So there's just no way I can do an impression on this. The only show that's going to come out after this one, which is astonishingly on the 14th of August. I don't know how they can be so late, but it's a 12-episode show called Kaizoku Ojo, which is a story about a pirate princess, which looks really good. And it is in the listener choice poll, if you want to vote for that, even though it's late. It would by Production IG. But I just can't. I don't know anything about Jahy-sama. I know it's about, let's see, once respected as the demon realm's second greatest authority. The Demon Kings aid Jahy, rule her subjects with fear, but when a magical girl attacks and destroys a mystic gem containing massive power, the demon realm is destroyed, and she just survives, but all of her powers are lost, and she finds herself stranded in the human world looking like a little kid. That's basically what happens. So she'll probably be just like an insufferable brat, I imagine. And it's done by Studio Silverlink, but yeah, like I said, like I can't really do an impression on this because it literally hasn't even come out yet, like really. It's probably not even out. I'm guessing if it is out at this exact moment, it probably maybe
I watched episode 1.
Yeah, is it on like Verve or something?
It is on Crunchyroll.
It's on Crunchyroll, so. But yeah, I can't pass it. So, boo on you for being so late.
Don't worry, it's gonna get the listener choice poll.
Probably.
It can't literally. It will not be defeated by us.
It also is in the listener choice poll. So there you go, along with everything else. So that one is also failing. So for now, at least. Next, we got one more.
Okay, so here's mine. It's Nighthead 2041. Do not say it, Mitsuki. You've already said it last week. So this is an anime from, I think it was, what's the studio? Shirogumi, which did Moyashimon. That's the only thing I could find that was notable. So this is actually like a CG anime. And for, being CG anime, and there's only like a few out there that are actually good looking, I'm surprised to see this one is actually decent looking and sometimes maybe pretty good. So this is an anime about a dystopian future where there are psychics, but the government denies their existence and also denies people from being able to believe in religion, in supernatural things, and anything that cannot be proven by science. If people believe in it or try to or tried to do anything with religion, or reading Akira, actually that is outlawed and you can be put in prison for reading Akira.
And like the anime, the manga.
They show you the manga and like some people reading it, and they're like, oh, you better put that away, that's going to get you in prison. So it's things like that. So there's like this whole police unit that goes around and chases down people who say they're like magicians or can heal you or something like that. Usually they are basically frauds. But yeah, they do go down and shut down different things like that. There are 2 brothers on that team, and actually I thought they were pretty cool. And then there's these other 2 brothers, and there's kind of like this other plot where we follow them. They are psychics, and one of them has like telepathy, and the other one is like a can like read minds and that kind of stuff. So yeah, so it's following these 2 sets of brothers, and from opposite sides of the spectrum. These 2 are psychics evading the law. The other 2 are the law. And then it gets to the point, I think in like the 3rd episode, where the leaders of this unit do like reveal to the people on this police unit that in fact there are psychics, and like they will actually turn them into psychics in order to fight these other psychics. So yeah, it's actually pretty interesting. I'm not going to say it's great. There are certain moments I'm like, about. Some of the character designs look pretty childish. Like the costumes on this police force, they look like they could be worn by a 12-year-old child. It's just like that kind of stuff. And then also the on the sidekick brothers end, the older brother looks cool. The younger brother looks, I cannot get past it. He just looks so dumb. I'm weird. I don't really like his character design one bit. But other than that, I actually think this might be good for discussion. I'm not going to say it's the best anime of this season, of course. It's hard to say what is the best anime of this season if you're going to go into like more than one. But I will, in fact, pass Nighthead 2041, which was on the bottom of my impression list. It was like I was not anticipating it to be anything worth talking about, but I think it should be.
I assume you didn't watch D-Side?
No.
Drummer? Okay, I was going to ask how the CG compared to that.
No, I mean, I think it looks pretty decent. There isn't anything too jarring about it that I thought, like, oh, that was obviously bad. I mean, I think there might have been a couple moments where they did that, what's it called? What's that, X-Arm. That they did that X-Arm thing where there's a 3D character and then there's a hand-drawn character or like a 2D character in the same anime and even the same screen, and it looks a little strange, but in fact it definitely looks better than X-Arm, which is not hard. So there's that. Yeah, it definitely looks better than X-Arm.
Yes. Now this is gonna be a good story.
We'll see.
We'll see. Story is more important than anything else, I think so. I just don't mind it if it's CG so much, so long as it's a good story, you know?
Yeah.
So I'd rather have that than a terrible story that looks beautiful, because I'm just falling asleep in bed then at that point. So, which I would never fall asleep if I was just presented with mass amounts of nipples, apparently. But of course not. We're not going to get to see that.
So the shows that we ended up passing from the summer season.
Mason just ignores me. No.
Is How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom, Kageki Shoujo, The Aquatope on White Sand, Remain, Sonny Boy, and Nighthead 2041.
We did it.
Quite the lineup of 6 shows, but reminder, listeners, poll is coming out when you are hearing this. For you to vote for your favorite remainders, and the top 3 will be added to the list. So hopefully we can get everyone's favorites on here and then talk about them. But that was it. We did it.
I think we're gonna be in like bad shape when we get to the point of the year where we have to watch all these shows week after week after week.
You know what?
We'll see.
Maybe some. You know what? This is going to be one of the seasons where we think everything's bad, and then it's going to end up being just one great show after another.
Well,
you watch. You watch.
We'll find out. We'll find out. But that was episode 587 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. As always, we invite you to come follow us on Twitter, follow Caroline and the podcast itself at AAA Podcasts. Get all the news updates, find out what the heck is going to go on next episode there. Follow Mitsugi at Pope Mitsugi. Follow myself at Macy Pacey. Join the Facebook group at AAA Podcast. The Discord is really the coolest place to be. It's where we get into all our arguments, post our food pictures, share our doggos, you know, the usual. Do watch parties. We're watching all sorts of stuff multiple nights a week now, so love to have you come on in and join the fun. The big updates for Anime Club. What is our next meeting, Caroline?
We are watching Moribito, Guardian of the Spirit, and we'll be gathering around to discuss the first 13 episodes on August 11th at 10 p.m. EDT. So make sure you join us if you love that anime, which I know a lot of people do.
Yeah, it's definitely a good one. Check it out. Manga Club is discussing Eyes on August 4th, volumes 1 through 2 at 10 p.m. So read the chapters and come on by, and we'd love to talk about it. As always, AAApodcast.com. It's not hard to remember. You join there for all the bonus content, you submit your mailbags, and you just see what's going on. iTunes reviews, we love them, and next episode preview, you don't get one. It's going to be a surprise. You'll have to wait and see.
We'll have
until
to wait.
then,
We don't even know.
yeah, exactly. I'm excited. It's a mystery.
Yeah.
Thanks all for joining, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.